Well, my friends, hello. Happy Friday. God bless you for joining me here on our creative checkup, our God and Gigs kind of virtual meetup, our coffee chat, our huddle, whatever you want to call it, where we help you to transform your creative life from the inside out by solving those individual creative problems with timeless spiritual principles. My name is Alan C. Paul. If you're new to us, we are going live everywhere right now on TikTok. You might be watching me through our phone here, and I always forget on my phone. I got to make sure I put do not disturb. So TikTok friends, give me 1 second to make sure that we don't get interrupted by something. And same thing on the on the app as well, on the computer as well. We want to make sure we don't get interrupted. So I wanted to make sure I made that setting. And if you are new to our platform, thank you for joining us. You are able to share and comment throughout this particular live stream. All you have to do is simply comment, and then I can pull your comments up here on the live stream like this. You'll see something like that pop up, and you can see that I can give you guys a chance to share alongside this particular live stream. So I would love to have your comments. Same thing on Instagram, same thing on LinkedIn. Well, I could say this differently. LinkedIn, Instagram, I'm taking a look. I see you, Tobias. I see you, Trey the fitness, the fit artist. Good to see you, brother. Tobias as well. So I see some of my friends over on Instagram. So I'm going to be going back and forth between all these different screens that we're on. I'm just trying this out to see how we can share with more people at the same time. And hopefully you're hearing me okay. That's the other thing that I want to make sure. So can you give me a thumbs up, a heads up, a wave, a comment, anything to make sure that the audio is working? Because I was rushing up here and I set everything up like super fast. Usually when I do that, I forget something simple and people are like watching me and I'm not even making any sound. So please let me know that the audio is working. If you're here watching live or if you're on replay, you are also welcome to comment on today's topic, which is, among other things, the focus of our vital signs will be on mental health and creatives, something that is near and dear to my heart, very important that I will never want us to lose focus on. So that'll be what we'll be talking about, but I'll be checking in again on Instagram, on TikTok. So anywhere you guys are commenting, I'll definitely try to respond to you. But those people who are watching on Facebook or YouTube, I can actually pull your comments up on screen. So as always, I want to get right into it. So let's get into what we're actually going to be sharing today. And so today we're going to be talking about, at first, our news and notes. So we always go at the beginning to share kind of what the whole agenda is going to be, because I don't want anybody to be just sitting here wondering, okay, what is he going to be talking about? So this is the whole agenda, so you can figure out, hey, I need to check in for this. I'm really interested in this. Since we go live for an hour, you can kind of figure out when I really want to be a part of the conversation. You can kind of see that from the beginning. So news and notes, we just cover some of our announcements, things that are happening in our creative community at God and Gigs. We're going to go over our Podfest Masterclass recap, which just happened on Tuesday. It was amazing with our Podfest family. We're going to give you a YouVersion plan update, our YouVersion reading plans that are now live on the YouVersion app, Bible.com. Sorry, guys, I don't know what's going on outside. Somebody's honking or having some issue with their car. And then we're going to go to a reminder about a cool LinkedIn masterclass that our friend, established creative expert LaShonda Brown, is going to be offering on next Thursday, I believe. So we're going to talk about that. And I actually have a promo and a discount code that you can use if you're interested in getting into LinkedIn and really utilizing that platform right. She's got an incredible lineup ready for you to teach you about that. Then vital signs. We're going to get into our talk today about creatives and mental health. I want to go from the beginning and say this is not going to be a clinical discussion. I am not a therapist. I am not qualified to give mental health advice. This is a conversation that we'll be talking about mental health and creatives. Are we more vulnerable? Should we be doing something different? As faith-focused creatives, as creators that love God, should we be approaching it differently than maybe other creators? I don't know. It's a conversation I'd like to have. So this is not a advice type live stream. This is a conversation about that topic. Then we'll get into our lab work. Lab work is where we always talk about something creatively speaking that's helping our career. It's something that I'm working with, a tool that's working for me. I want to share it with you guys. So anything I'm experimenting with or using, I say, hey, I'm a creative, I'm a musician, I'm a podcaster. Maybe you can use this too in your creative life. So today we're going to be featuring Mighty Networks, which is a tool that we use to build our membership. And they are rolling out some incredible stuff. So we're going to be talking about whether you should be building a membership to support your creative calling and to create revenue. And then we're going to go into our consult, which is our biggest time thief question. I want to know what's distracting you. You're on social media right now if you're watching this. So maybe this is not a distraction, but sometimes it is. So I want to know what your biggest time thief is. And we're going to discuss that. And finally, we'll get into our prescriptions. Okay, so hopefully that gave you an idea. Wilfredo is in the house already. As you can see, we got our friends here. He is the host of the Stuck in My Mind, did I say it right? Stuck in My Mind podcast. So definitely go check him out. Wilfredo is an incredible brother and also a friend of our Podfest fam. So this is awesome. Links right in together, which what we're about to talk about. So let's jump right in. I'm not going to do any stingers. And I want to get quickly into the news and notes, and then we'll get into our discussion. So as I just mentioned, Podfest, we just did our third. Wow. No, I've spoken way more than, there were 3 days of the convention of the conference, but this will be my 5th time that I've spoken as a part of Podfest. I think that's right. Anyway, what's important is you can get access to the training. So if you've ever considered, how do I really use AI? Is AI for me? Maybe you've had a love-hate relationship with AI and you weren't sure how it worked with you as a creative. Well, this is your chance. This is your chance to get all of the tools and really dedicated information about AI, okay? So that you can understand, hey, how do I use this tool? What do people do with this tool? I'm a podcaster. How do I do this? I'm trying to write a book. How can I use AI for this? We covered so much ground. And my personal application, my talk, was with my friend Nathan, who is an incredible Google Ads and YouTube Ads expert. And so he explained how he uses YouTube ads. I explained how I use Vizard and promoted shorts to build up my YouTube channel. So if you want access to that, you can still get access. Now, I do not have the link in front of me. I apologize for that. I'm going to go on my email right now and see if I can find a link to the Podfest. It's going to be kind of long, so I'll put it in the chat. So those of you who are in the chat, you're going to be able to see it. Those of you who aren't, I apologize. but it's a long email. I mean, a long URL. So let's see. Yeah, and that's got the creator code on it. So hopefully you guys can click on this when I get it in here to this. Boom. So hopefully on YouTube and on Facebook, you'll be able to click on that and you can still get access now. This expires today. The recordings for the PodFest Creator Tools Summit expires today. So if you're watching on replay on Saturday, I'm sorry you missed out. But those of you who are watching live or on Friday, go get these trainings. I'm telling you, I want to get my own training because I don't remember half the things that Nathan said. I want to get more information on YouTube ads. And there's so many other AI tools that were mentioned. And again, this is not just for podcasters. This is for anyone. So those friends who are on TikTok and on Instagram who can't click the link, go look up PodFest Masterclass. PodFest Masterclass. You should be able to find it. It's on Eventbrite, and you'll be able to find those recordings and get that access. Okay. Ja Will, good to see you over there on Instagram as well, man. So we got a lot of friends joining us from all over the place. All right. Next, let's go to, let me see if I can click ahead. I cannot seem to get it. There we go. Our update on our YouVersion app. And this is super exciting, you guys. Last week when I shared, we had about, I'd say, 147 readers. I want to say it sounded like 153 readers, something like that. That was last week. This week, we have 744 readers. So we're closing in on 1,000 readers, and over or close to 250 have completed the entire 5 days. So this is super exciting. Why? Because again, you guys might know the YouVersion app, Bible.com app, has been downloaded almost 1 billion times. B, okay? 1 billion phones, 1 billion people have access to God's word through the YouVersion app. And to think that the Creator's Purpose, which is a 5-day devotional I wrote to help you have a model for creative work using God's purpose to to emulate, for you to emulate God's creative purpose in your creative purpose, so that each day you have your why right in front of you as a faith-focused Christian creative who's out there to impact the world. Every single one of you can be even more dedicated, even more fulfilled if you have these principles in your mind of joy and character development and everything else I shared in the Creator's Purpose. So, of course, I invite you guys to read it. If you haven't read it already, let me pull up that link. It is godandgigs.com. The fastest way to get to it is godandgigs.com/purpose. But if you go to godandgigs.com/YouVersion, you can get all the different links of the different reading plans we've done, including the Creator's Craft. We already shared that one last year. That one is also still getting people to connect with God's word by figuring out how God created the 6 days of creation. How does that apply to our creative lives? And then also, of course, the Creator's Purpose is there. And yes, we are working on a third. So this will be something, hopefully, every time you go back to our God and Gigs page on YouVersion, there will be new materials there for you. Okay. So that is super exciting. Again, check that out at godandgigs.com/YouVersion. All right. Let's keep going with our announcements. We're almost done with the news and notes. This is so cool. LaShonda, if you're watching later, I want to say thank you, number one, for making me the winner, I guess, in her community, the Bootstrap community. I think I was the most active member. That's right. I am not just a person that runs a membership site. I am also a member of other membership sites, and I'm a member of the Bootstrap Biz Advice app and membership. And so I am so excited for LinkedIn, for LaShonda's LinkedIn Masterclass, which she'll be doing with the, I believe she is the CEO of Groove, Taylor Harrington. And they're going to be talking about how you can truly build a LinkedIn profile and platform that will increase your revenue, that will help you build your creative platform even better. And there will be a replay provided. Now, here's the cool thing. I am a member of the Bootstrap Biz Advice, and I'm also an affiliate, which means I get LaShonda's blessing to hand out discount codes. So today I'm going to let you know about this discount code. So the link is lashondabrown.com/LinkedIn class. Okay, that's the URL. But if you use my promo code, which is Allen25, you know what? I'm going to put the whole thing in here. I'm just going to spend some time, which I know I shouldn't do banners while I'm talking, but I just feel like this will be helpful. So I'm going to put in, what's her whole thing? lashondabrown.com/LinkedIn class. And I'm going to say use promo code Allen25 for $25 off. You will save $25 off the cost of this membership. And let's see if I get that right. There we go. So you can get access to this to this workshop and save some money on it because it's worth every penny. They're going to be doing 2 hours worth of detailed instruction and training and hands-on help to build your LinkedIn profile. And let me let you know, I am getting super active on LinkedIn, and it is a blessing. It is so much better than anywhere else. So let's also put that in the comments so you guys can check that out. And those of you who are LinkedIn and on Instagram and on TikTok, sorry, trying to keep all this stuff straight. My brain is not working today. LinkedIn class. All right. So there's the link. So that way you guys can check it out. If you're watching on replay, once again, you can use this code. You can get the access to the masterclass. I did LaShonda's LinkedIn class last year that she did on newsletters and LinkedIn. By the way, I have started my newsletter on LinkedIn as well. So kudos. And then she was also talking about how to get sponsorships through LinkedIn. All of this has to do with you using your platform, your creative gift, your art, your message, and actually attracting the people that God has called you to reach. And these are the tools he's giving you to reach them. I'm going to preach a half a second. Moses was supposed to go out there, help the children of Israel. He was scared. God says, what's in your hand? Moses is like a staff. And then you guys know the story. Whatever Moses needed that staff to do, God made it possible for him to use it. There's tools in your hands right now. The question is, are you using them appropriately and effectively? LinkedIn is a tool. Are you using it effectively to help build your creative brand? So go check that out. Use my promo code Allen25. You'll save $25 off of that ticket, and you will learn so much from my friends LaShonda and Taylor. All right, let's go ahead and keep moving on. I want to get right into our vital signs today. So give me just a moment. Let's play our stinger, get a little bit of production value in here, and then we're going to get into our next segment of this creative checkup. All right, my friends, this is a serious topic, so we'll smile through this. We'll enjoy it, but we'll also be very, very sensitive to everyone who's dealing with any kind of mental health issue. So we're not going to go into this with any kind of presumptions. Again, as I mentioned in the open, I am not a therapist nor a mental health counselor or professional. So none of the comments I'm making have anything to do with me giving you professional mental health advice. This is a conversation on whether creatives are more vulnerable to mental health issues and how can we deal with it, especially when you look at us being faith-focused creatives. What's the right approach that we should take? Now, I'm going to have to start by being vulnerable with you because I can't have a conversation about mental health in May because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, if you didn't know. So those of you who are like wondering why we're talking about mental health, we should talk about mental health all year long. But this is a great time because there's more emphasis being put during this month, as you might see different commercials and public service announcements and things like that being talked about in terms of mental health. So the first thing I can do to really open up this conversation is to, again, be vulnerable and share that I've had my share of mental health issues. And I don't want to try to use this as, again, where I am the best representation of any of these issues. It's just what I've faced. So I have dealt with diagnoses of depression, diagnoses of anxiety. I have been faced with the prospect of self harm. So all of these things are things, unfortunately, I can say I'm acquainted with individually, going to therapy, dealing with my emotions, learning how to process my mental health in a way that was healthy and would allow me to continue to grow without becoming dependent. So when I say dependent, I don't mean that I shouldn't go back to therapy or shouldn't have medications. I just mean that I wanted to have a tool belt so that I wasn't in a state of panic or crisis all the time. So I could get to a place of healthy mental health. Because one of the big things I hear a lot of people talk about is that mental health has become a byline where we don't talk about, when we say mental health, it immediately assumes that there's a sickness, when it really should be just like your regular health. When I say I'm healthy or how's your health, there shouldn't be an immediate assumption, well, if you talk about your health, your physical health, that means you're sick. No, it's the same thing with your mental health. It is something to be constantly aware of, that you can maintain good mental health versus bad mental health. But mental health is just that. It's the health of your mind. And those of you who are dealing with any kind of struggle, I think the first thing is to destigmatize mental health. Now, let's get to the creatives part of this. And I would love your comments, to be as sensitive as possible. If you would like to comment anonymously because you don't want to share, you can always go into your links. I think there is a way to go anonymously in Facebook. You can change it to anonymous and then you can share anonymously. So Facebook at least allows you to do that if you want to comment anonymously. I also want to be very clear that if you are dealing with a mental health crisis right now, something where you're dealing with self-harm, suicidal thoughts, please do not wait for the end of this video. Get help right now. The code for anyone that's looking for the National Suicide Hotline is 988. That is, I believe, a nationwide hotline. And let's go ahead and pull up the number as well for the 1-800 number. But I believe 988 works anywhere. Yeah, that is correct. I just looked at it. So 988, dial from any number. We'll give you the suicide and crisis lifeline. So please use that if you are in any way, shape, or form facing fears or worries about suicidal tendencies or thoughts. Do not wait. We believe that you can find and get the help you need, and we're praying for you now. So as I just mentioned, if you want to comment on this, but you feel it's too sensitive, feel free to comment however you want to keep yourself safe and not share anything that would be triggering or something that you feel would be upsetting for you or someone else. So I mentioned my own issues, and the question that we're putting forward is, are creators more vulnerable? And here's what I would say. I want to try to make this super short, not because it can be made short, but because we could go all day if we talk about it. I do not believe that creators are more vulnerable to mental health issues than other people. I know a lot of people say, well, we are sensitive as creators. We wear our heart on our sleeve. We are in the public eye. We deal with criticism. So there are bigger pressures on our mental health than maybe on the common person that is not in the performing arts, the visual arts, the structural arts. We care so much about our creative work that it can become a burden. We get crushed if someone doesn't like our work, depression and things like that. Or we write about it, we sing about it. So maybe we are like more open emotionally to bigger issues because of that. So if you agree with that, then maybe you're on the same page. You can let me know in the comments. Let me know if you agree that we are more vulnerable in sense of emotional issues. However, I will draw a line here. And again, this is my opinion, nothing, data driven about this. I do also believe that the human condition means all of us are equally susceptible to the same problems, and that creatives don't have this predisposition to have to deal with depression and anxiety any more than the other person. Now, I know I just said that we're in a profession that oftentimes seems to pull out the worst parts of our emotions and deal with our and challenges to our mental health. Here's what I'll say again. in kind of contrast to that, I think it's not that we are more susceptible or vulnerable. I think that because of our environment, our response to those pressures makes us more vulnerable. The fact that oftentimes we self medicate with our art, with music, or let's be very real, even in our faith, where we rely and pray and we dream and we're like, okay, Lord, you're just going to take away this depression from me. And when it doesn't lift right away, we get disillusioned and we don't seek help because we think that faith is the key. Now, faith is the key. I don't want to discount this at all. But even when Jesus healed people, he said, go show yourself to the priest. There was still an aspect of working with other people that completed the healing. So even though God can heal us from a mental health crisis or issue, I do not believe he does it outside of other people. And most times I would say it requires other people and professionals at that, especially based on the depth of your issue. So help me out in the comments as I'm sharing, because this is one of those discussions that doesn't make any sense for me to share my opinion. If you have dealt with this, if you have felt these issues as a creative and you have felt that you are more open, more vulnerable, or maybe you're in the opposite. Maybe you feel being a creator gave you more tools to help deal with any kind of mental health issues, yours or other people. Because as I just said, being a creative can be a crutch, but it can also be a blessing that will help you to deal with these things. But again, it's all in how you approach it. Are you thinking that you are impervious and that you shouldn't feel a certain way? In my last creative checkup newsletter, which comes out every Wednesday, you can subscribe, by the way, shameless plug, at godofgigs.com/newsletter. So I did not have a good mental health day on Tuesday. And I can't honestly say it was about anything specific that I was going through. I can't say that there was a struggle. I can't say that, there were some things that weren't paid. Maybe I was kind of down because I just kind of had this lingering feeling that, oh gosh, you got to take this bill and this bill. And kind of like, how like you have and of course this is diagnosable, generalized anxiety. You don't know why you feel weird, but you just feel weird and you feel anxious just to be anxious. There's no specific thing you can plug it in. And I'm aware of this the entire day. Again, remember, there's no major crisis. God has been so good. And what I wrote in the newsletter is one of the worst feelings is when you know you're just off and you're moody and you're feeling sad and you don't know why and you don't have a good reason. You feel like there should be something wrong that makes me feel like this and I can't put my finger on it. And now let me remind you, this is a day that I had to lead a rehearsal. I had to go to work at my church. I had to focus on my work. I had to lead other people in worship or lead rehearsal and be joyous and share, my faith and pray. And so this whole time I'm like, okay, God, I'm not feeling like myself. I'm feeling like I feel like blah and there's something wrong and I don't know how to put a finger on it. Now, in the past, as a creative, I might have either dug into a song. I might have kind of gotten really mopey and just been like, okay, Lord, woe is me, and just go over and over and over, kind of like, how like you get that song and you play a song that ministers to you, but you're kind of rehearsing the pain instead of getting healing from it. You're like just wallowing in it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you know this feeling, please don't leave me out here, because some part of the healing of this is being honest and being truthful about the way we feel. So I know there's times when I have tried to use music to medicate, and it wasn't really medicating. It was more just rehashing the same problem and letting me wallow in it. And so that feeling back then is the kind of like thing that I would do. The response would be. Now, a lot of my response was self-talk. A lot of my response was, you're feeling down. Be honest. You're feeling down. And God is still good, and you still have a lot of things to be thankful for and grateful for, and you're going to have to practice that. And one of the things that I realized and I wrote down in the newsletter was gratitude is a practice. To practice gratitude when you're not feeling it, when you're feeling down, is just like practicing your art, practicing the instrument, practicing your voice. It's something that comes only when you force yourself to do it, because it's not natural and you have to practice it when you don't feel like practicing. So practicing good mental health strategies, mindfulness, sitting back, taking a break, breathing, having a therapy session and making sure you make it and show up for it and show up honestly, talking to friends, not being in isolation. These are practices that the creative has to practice just like you practice your work or your art. Because, as we just said, your response and your openness to those problems means that you must be even more proactive. So, like I said, I don't believe we're more vulnerable. I believe that our response and our attempts to medicate it through other means other than being honest is the danger. All right, so Fredo says, this is my outlet. He's talking about, I believe you're talking about, your creative work is your outlet for kind of like what you're dealing with, or is it something else? Let me know. You said, I use being a creative to express myself and allows me to be myself. That's so huge, especially if you can do this from a position of authenticity. And here's the thing, man, my friend, I know that when you are honest and you can accept who you are and you share it, that's healing for your mental health and for your overall stability. But this is a dangerous line where many people don't act like themselves. They're trying to prove something to somebody else. They're trying to be something they're not. And that actually is a recipe for declining mental health, because you are in a dichotomy. You're trying to be something that you're not, and you're trying to please people that you don't. And so you're going back and forth, and that is a dangerous place. So I appreciate you for being honest and saying that you allow yourself to express yourself through your creativity instead of putting on a persona, which I believe many creators, that's why so many creators do get burned out, one, and then two, they feel unfulfilled and they feel lonely and isolated because they haven't let their true selves connect. And by the way, let me be very clear. The true self I'm talking about is not based on your feelings. It's on who God has said that you are. And God sets that up. So thinking more of him and his opinion of you instead of your own opinion of you when you're dealing with mental health crisis and challenge, getting into God's healthy view of yourself, God's healthy view of your mind. The Bible says we have the mind of Christ if we are saved. So God's mind is used to dealing with suffering and stays the course. God's mind, because it's the mind of Christ, is serve others before you serve yourself. God's mind, his healthy mind, is that I am blessed even when all people may speak falsely of me, for great is my reward in heaven. That's the mind of Christ. That's the healthy mind that we have as Christians. And so creatives, Christian creators, faith-focused creators, focus in on not your vulnerability to mental health issues, because we all are going to be vulnerable. Focus on your response. That's what I'm trying to do. I hope that you are also seeing that there's tools to help you respond to the feelings and not react to the feelings. The reaction is, oh my gosh, the world is ending. I'm depressed. And that means, I'm no longer a Christian. I no longer can help people, sing to people. It's just not true. However, I do believe, again, if you're listening to this and this is hitting home, but you don't want to comment because you don't want to be, letting your business out there, I totally understand. Just hear me and send me a private email later so I know you got this. It is about you responding to God and knowing that he's listening and that he is going to be a comforter, even when the feelings don't change, when your mental health is not click and all of a sudden you feel better. I've been there and I know that it is a lonely place, but it doesn't have to be lonely for long. You can get help. You can call the number. You can get the therapy. You can check with Christian therapists if that makes you feel a lot better about the prospects of who you're talking to if they share your faith. No matter what, I believe that this is a huge, important topic that we have to continue to talk about. So if that blessed you, I pray it did. And again, I know I can't necessarily ask for a lot of comments on this. Good to see Sim Renee over there, our brand ambassador for 360 over there on Instagram. People are joining us all over the place. This is really cool. And I saw some of you on TikTok as well. All right, so let's move on now. Let's move on to our next segment, which is talking about a tool I love and how you can use it in order to build a business and a membership that will support you no matter what. All right. By the way, before we go ahead, if you're still with me, I see we got a lot of live viewers, which is awesome. So if you are enjoying this, if you have been with us before, why don't you put a 2 in the comments? I just want to see. You guys have been quiet, and I know we were talking about a heavy subject. But, if you have been with us before, on the other platforms, we're trying out these other platforms. I forgot to mention Twitter. We are live on Twitter right now. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to mention that, which is our first time ever trying Twitter. And I'm going to be really meta now, and I'm going to check in on my own live stream. And yes, we are. There we are. So those of you who are watching on X, I said Twitter because I'm used to Twitter. I'm sorry, I mode like that. So those of you watching on X, man, say hello. I'm not sure how we say hello on X. I got to figure this out. Hold on. Let me make sure I don't want to mess up something. And then you guys, I was about to click on it and watch myself, but I just did. Okay. Oh, there we go. See, I'm hearing it. All right. Got to close it. See, so I just heard myself, but yes, we are live on Twitter. Wow. That's super cool. And we got some watchers. So y'all on Twitter, I apologize. I am not on X. I apologize. I'm not used to that. I got to get used to X being a place that we can go live. Thank you, man. Yeah, we're Freddie. Yeah, I'm trying to get used to say X, and that's like just doesn't roll off the tongue like Twitter does, man. But Twitter died. Elon killed it. But hey, change and creativity and not sticking with the same thing. I guess that's a proof of it. All right. So thanks for checking in. Those of you who checked in, that's just so super cool to see people who are joining us for the first time. Wilfredo is coming in as a 2. So if you're a first time, hit a 1 in the comments, and if you're been here before, hit a 2. Okay, so that way I'll know who has been here and who is just checking us out for the first time. All right, our lab work, talking about things that we are working with, things that I am using for my tools as a creative. Remember, y'all, I am a musician. I'm not just a podcaster. I'm not just an author. I'm, like many of you, a multi-hyphenate creative. So I'm using different tools for different things. I got to be in every place doing certain things, and I need my tools to work to do certain things. But all of us as creators, we all need monetization. We need ways to make money. We need a place to build community. If you've been following us on our best year ever, you know that we've been going through the best year ever. So we started with spiritual alignment in January, clarity and vision in February. That's January, February. March was community, and then April was monetization. So we've been walking through all of these things that make your creator best year ever, so that you can have the best year ever by the time you get to 12 months of December. And this month, we're talking about time management and systems. So it all kind of works together really well to say, well, how can you best use your time? I would say your best use of time as a creative is finding more people who support you, who can help you do more things creatively. So you're not just by yourself. That was the message of community. Right? So a tool that can help you to build that kind of not being by yourself, not being in isolation, saving time, having a system where you can reach the people that you are called to reach is building a membership. Now, this may sound very meta as I talk about this because I am going to be talking about our membership as well, God and Gigs 360, which of course you can join if you're not already a member at godandgigs.com/membership. But this is what's working for us, okay? So what's working for us is we are using a tool called Mighty Networks to build our membership. Now, I didn't just do one for my podcast or God and Gigs. I also built a platform through Mighty Networks for my music brand, which is called Keep the Music Playing. We've transitioned it. It's no longer Keep the Music Playing as a live stream concert series. Now it is a podcast, a music podcast, and I get to share music from a V for V, which is called Value for Value, Podcasting 2.0. It's super cool. Yes, I can share music on a podcast that is not going to be tagged as like copyrighted or whatever, because it's just a new system. So I'll talk more about that later. It's super awesome. So I've used Mighty Networks to build multiple memberships. So let's talk about this for a second. If you've ever built a membership or wanted a membership, put one in the comments, okay? Actually, we did a one. I want to make sure I don't get confused. If you've ever done a membership or built one or wanted to build one, just put membership in the comments. Write out membership. Because this way I'll know that you have either tried it or that you're interested in it. But let me tell you why I am encouraging all of our creators to build some sort of membership. Now, Mighty Networks is the one that I recommend if you are, and this is cool, key is a key here. If you are a creator who already is establishing a community or an audience, you've already been producing content for a while, you're already in the flow of creating something, I highly would recommend Mighty Networks, because Mighty Networks is that key that kind of flips the switch from you just thinking like this is a casual thing to something that's being organized. Mighty Networks, the key of that one that works so well is the organization of it. And they are putting out new features all the time that in God and Gigs 360. And by the way, you know what? Here's the part where I think I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys. Oh yeah, I saw that. Wilfred, I'm going to show that in a second. But I want to jump in here. Let's see how I get in there. I'm going to go here and let's share screen. I always seem to do this. But I want to show you some of the cool things that they are doing at Mighty Networks and how you can use a membership yourself. And you might say, well, I don't have but 10 people, 12 people, 14 people. So this is what I do with Mighty Networks so that you can see what works for you. And remember, of course, all of you could be a member of this membership. So one of the things that Mighty Networks does that I love is that it makes, and see, I'll make sure I'm sharing this. Yeah, I'm sharing the tab so you guys aren't seeing something that you don't need to see. It's not blocked. Good. Okay. So one of the things I love that Mighty Networks does is it focuses on the actual people. So let's say you join my God and Gigs 360 today. From the get-go, you're going to be asked to fill out some information about you, and you're going to fill it in so that people can find you. So here, Pamela has already written in, I am a career coach and a certified life coach. I launched my business, League of Faith Consulting, in 2022 after retiring from a career in human resources. Not only that, then we can see what other things she's interested in. And now, look at this. Similar to Pamela, the AI in Mighty helps me to see what we have in common. So it says you and Pamela both share a passion for coaching careers and bring a creative flair to your work. Plus, your joint interest in writing adds an intriguing layer to your professional experiences. So you see how right away in this membership, using AI as not a tool to do stuff for me, as in replace me, it adds that context I need to learn right away. Who can I connect with in this membership? So let's say your membership is not based on music or creativity. Like maybe your membership is based on, I don't know, give me something else. Let me see. Maybe your membership is going to be based on, I'll just say singing only, okay? Because I know our friends, Jasmine Crumley and Ashayla, they're currently doing a boot camp, and I know that Jasmine has a singer sanctuary, so she has one of the singers. Well, maybe you have singers that jump in, and your singers can then put in, oh, I am a opera singer. The next one, I'm a jazz singer. The next one, I'm an R&B singer. The next one, well, I do voiceovers. And each person puts in their information, and then the AI helps them find the person. Let me go down a little bit here so you guys can see this. So now she can see the people that she's most closely associated with right away. Okay. So this is what Pamela is sharing with the membership. And then she's saying love for writing and being creative into her business. So her discipline is writing. So then I go here, I click on writing. Here's some more members who are writers. So right away, she's got 3 people in the membership that she can connect with who are also writers. So the key of using these types of platforms, the best is to let them use them and let them connect other members with each other. Notice, I haven't clicked on my profile at all yet. I'm here, but the membership is here to help other creators in my community to find each other. That is the emphasis I love that comes from Mighty Networks. They really do focus on how do we get other members to talk to each other. And if you get your creative community to talk to each other, you don't have to be there all the time. That's where the time saving comes in. I've been very honest with y'all. I do not like Facebook. So I have been very, very tempted to jump off of Facebook entirely. Wilfredo, I know you're watching on Facebook right now. This is why I believe you should get in the membership. The other way you said membership, because you're interested. I am so close, y'all. I know it sounds weird to share it on Facebook, but Facebook is getting on my last nerve. I know my friend LaShonda would agree with me. She's already trying to get off. She's already off of Facebook, and I think she's trying to get off of Instagram. Facebook is a great place for me to find people, but it's a horrible place to engage because it constantly gives you things that you don't want to see and constantly changes willy-nilly to make it harder for you to actually connect. Meanwhile, Mighty Networks, my platform, and you could be your platform, is working to keep people together, is working to try to help them find each other and stay more connected. Let's try one more thing that I like about Mighty Networks. You can see these things on the side, the Mighty Hub over here where people can start. Everyone that joins gets free books. Remember, all of this you could be a part of as well. I feel so strange showing you this and not telling you, you can join at godofgifts.com/membership for just $10 a month. But you can also get access to your own Mighty Network by going to godandgeeks.com/mighty. So if you go to godandgeeks.com/mighty, you can start your own Mighty Network. And again, I would say for most of you, again, I think you've already started, like Wilfredo, you've already started something. You've already got people. So the key for you would be to decide what unites your community, what unites them, what would they want to talk to each other about, and how could they talk about that thing without having to be in Facebook or YouTube or anywhere else where you could be the facilitator of those conversations and share your podcast episodes and everything else in a place where they could actually dig in deep. I don't know about you, man, but getting people to talk about the different episodes and things like that outside of like just in regular conversation in any of these social media is almost impossible. Meanwhile, here inside the God and Gigs 360 membership, we can put out questions, we can put out things, and people actually talk about them. As you can see down here, we have people actually voting and they're actually commenting. It's like, oh my gosh, people actually comment on things. Like, let me go up here to the featured. Where's the featured one? This was so cool where one of our members, her son got an award and was able to share it with the rest of the community. And this is what I'm talking about. Oh, in our prayer chat as well. So I want to make sure I'm just using this as an example, but I want to make sure that you guys are seeing that this is not just for us and our membership. This is what you could be building for your membership. Okay. So I want to encourage you guys. Once again, you may have never thought of building your own membership, but it's worth it. I've done it I've used Mighty a couple of times. Is it a little more expensive than, say, something less like Buy Me a Coffee? Buy Me a Coffee is a free way to do this. So if you want to, again, this is why I'm advising it for those of you who have an established brand and you want to build on it and grow that established brand and give your people a place outside of Facebook to meet up. That's why I'm suggesting it. If you are a beginner and have no revenue whatsoever and you really just want to get started, by the way, let me give you an example of that right now. Let me kind of put this in here. An example of that is what I have right there on the corner. If you guys look up there, I forgot to mention this. That's a URL or a QR code, I should say, to our tip jar, our kit tip jar. You can scan it right now if you're watching, if you're not watching on your phone. You can scan it right now and you can give to God and Gigs. Not everybody that comes to my platform is going to buy something or join the membership. I get that. You might be in the exact same position that I'm in. I know not everyone that watches is going to become a member. However, I still want to provide a way that you can support us if this is blessing you by giving an individual amount. This is the same thing that Buy Me a Coffee does. So if you don't have a Kit account and you're not going to use Mighty, you can open a Buy Me a Coffee, and I've raised over, I don't want to get the amount out, but a lot of money has come in through one of the other podcasts that I help to produce. And we use Buy Me a Coffee for that one, okay? Because it was just a great fit with the coffee analogy. And this podcast uses a lot of coffee in their talks and the different things. So coffee kind of centers around it. So it was awesome for them to use Buy Me a Coffee. It worked perfectly, right? But for me, I use Kit for my tip jar. And so the tip jar is up there if you want to scan it and support us with any amount you want. That will be a blessing to us. And you can also use Buy Me a Coffee for that. And that is kind of like a membership. That's why I put it in there, by the way. Okay, so it's kind of like a membership when you do those types of things where people can donate, they can join, and there is a place where they can talk to each other. Generally speaking, though, it's not as robust a membership as something like Mighty Networks is. So as a creator, if you have people who you want to connect to each other and then talk about what you talk about, but not necessarily feel like you have to talk to them all the time and create a bunch of content and create a bunch of courses, you can do that. That's what God and Gigs 360 has. We have all that stuff. We have like amazing membership, but we use all the bells and whistles. You may not need all the bells and whistles, but you can still get in, use it at the lower tier, or you can upgrade and use it at a higher tier, but build a place where your people can meet outside of social media. All right. I think that's enough of that. Let's quickly jump in. I got about 8 minutes to go. Let's quickly jump into our consult. I would love to get you guys talking to each other in this live stream. So let's go into our consult. All right, this is going to be fun. I want to know, everybody that's watching on any of these platforms, what's your biggest time thief? If you're watching on replay, I would love to know this as well. What's your biggest time thief? I asked this question inside of our membership. I've asked it also in our Facebook group. I think I put it in a Facebook group. Now I want to know from you guys. Actually, no, I put it in a newsletter. That's where I put it. So what is the thing that is the biggest thief of your time and the biggest distraction that when you look up, you're like, oh my God, where did the time go? Who took my entire day? Who took my afternoon? Is it binging? Is it social media? Is it, something else that you just kind of get into, a game on your phone, something that good and well, it's a guilty pleasure, but then it becomes like a time waster. And it goes from being kind of like innocuous to the fact that like, man, I let this thing get too much of my time. Our month of May in our membership, as I just talked about, is the focus on time management and systems. And if you are not making a system to keep yourself from losing your entire day because of time thieves like social media, like over checking your email, which is mine. I call this the loop. I always know when I'm in a wasting time situation, when I am clicking on the same 6 tabs on my browser, like over and over. I go to mail, I check mail, then I check YouTube, and then I'm looking at it right now. I literally can tell you where I check. I go from like mail, I check YouTube, I check, then I might go to, where do I go next? Sometimes I'll go to like Canva. I'll look at something on Canva, and then I go right back to email. I just checked the email 5 minutes ago. No reason to check the email twice in 5 minutes, but I go back and forth And it's something about that clicky thing that gets me totally off track. So I would love to see in the comments as we are finishing up. We got another 5 minutes to go. I'd love to see in the comments or in the replay comments, what's your biggest time waster? And by the way, if you see this poll as well on LinkedIn or anywhere else, you can go ahead and answer that question there. But be honest with me, and I see some of my live viewers here, so maybe you guys are just quiet today. Maybe you're watching on a device that you can't get to the comments. So if you can't comment right now, come back later, okay? I really want to know this. I want to see what happens when people pop up and say, okay, yeah, I spend way too much time scrolling TikTok, Instagram. By the way, did I mention that we have a TikTok now? We have a TikTok, which I said I would never do. And I was basically dead set against TikTok just because it was, too much time is going to be wasted. It's not my demographic. Well, you guys that are on TikTok right now, I've seen the error of my ways. I am actually on TikTok. I don't know what's going to happen with the whole political situation or what's going to be shut down, whatever. All I know is this is a place where creators tend to hang out. So we're going to be wherever you guys hang out. So if you hang out on TikTok, I've already seen a lot of my friends that I realized that we've interviewed before on the podcast. Did not realize that they were much bigger on TikTok than on any other platform. So that was really cool to go on to TikTok and be like, oh, I had not seen him or her posting in forever. I thought they were just, not interested in social media. It turns out they were posting on TikTok, and now we can reconnect. So this is actually a great move for us. So if you want to give us a follow on TikTok, I would love it. It's the God and Gigs podcast. We call it the podcast so that people would know it's a podcast on TikTok. So go check us out there. But my whole point is, for some people, it's a time waster. You're just scrolling. You're not there to make friends. You're not there to network. You're not there to make content. And you've gone past the point of actually like just using it for a recreational thing. And you're just like stuck and you're obsessing and you're not getting away and you're losing time on your things. One of the things we talk about in our consistent creative challenge is eliminating distractions. We're going to do our consistent creative challenge soon. I'm not sure when, but we're going to do it soon. When we do, if you haven't done it before, check out the page, check out the lesson on eliminating distractions, because that's what we're talking about. What distractions should you systematically get rid of? Looks like we're going to lose TikTok in about 5 minutes, but that's okay because we're almost done. I guess they are trying to make sure that we don't spend time. Just let me do this over here. I'm just getting used to all these different things, making sure that they know we're here. Yep. So we're almost done though. So, and those of you who hung with us the entire time, thank you so much. I see those of you who hung out the entire time, and maybe you couldn't join us via the comments, but we appreciate you watching. I hope you guys got a lot out of this creative checkup. So let's go ahead and finish up. I'm not going to do any more stingers. Let's just get right to the end here. And the prescription for today, again, as always, I will always invite you to join our God and Gigs 360 membership, because as I just mentioned, it's a place where you can find that connection with other creators who are just like you, and they can help you to get past those little nagging things that are keeping you from your creative best that God has called you to. By the way, I want to shout out Anita. Is definitely our member of the week. We shared one of her posts. I can't find it right now, unless, am I still sharing screen? I might be able to find it quickly. Let's see if I can go real fast and get it. Let's move this. Let's move this. Let's see if I can find her comment. It was such a great comment that she shared. I'm so appreciative of her. And where was it? Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. I don't know if I can see. You probably can't see it, but I'll read it. She said, in the past few months, being connected in this group of creators has been a great addition to daily mindfulness. Even if it's just to check in quick, it reminds me of my purpose. And as you can probably see, again, you guys that can't see the screen, I apologize, but Anita has already been awarded a badge. She's a welcoming and faithful member. And you can see that she's been checking in all the time, and she is connected with us. She's an entrepreneur, invested in creative communities, her own creative community. So this is an example of the people that we are so blessed to be around. If you want to join Anita and all these other amazing members, again, check us out at godandgigs.com/membership. You'll see our coaching version, which is live coaching, which you can get at the higher tier. But the $10 tier gives you access to recorded workshops as well as live workshops every week. We're going to schedule our next one coming up really soon. I don't have it yet, but it is almost going to be done. I'm going to be talking to an amazing systems time management style expert. I don't want to give it away, but as soon as we book it, I want to go ahead and promote it. And that'll be our established creative workshop for this week. Not this week. What am I saying? For next week or this month. So we're going to get that done so you guys can check that out. But again, go to godandgeeks.com/membership and you'll see all the options. There is an annual option, by the way. There's an annual option for the Creative Resource Center so that you guys can get in for 2 months free. 2 months free if you use the annual plan. So you don't have to worry about monthly payments, one payment for the year, and you're done. And you get access to the app and everything else for the entire year. This was fun, guys. This was really powerful, talking about everything that we talked about. It was a blessing for you guys to join me. Thank you so much for joining me for this creative checkup. Make sure you check out godandgeeks.com/podcast because that will be, of course, where we share more of this information. Don't forget about, let's do it one more time. Don't forget about, let's go. Don't forget about today. If you want to get that training, the AI training, go right away to that link. Check out PodFest Masterclass and look up that. It's the last day to get that, Friday. If you go past this, you're not going to get it. And also, don't forget the LinkedIn Masterclass, LaShondaBrown.com/LinkedIn class. You can use my promo code Allen25 and you get $25 off and join her and learn all the secrets of using LinkedIn the right way to build your channel, to build growth, build revenue, build your network, all those cool things that LinkedIn allows for you. And those of you who are watching on LinkedIn, you're proof, because if you're watching on LinkedIn, this shows that you are interested in building the channel and connecting with people the right way. All right, guys, we're over time. Thank you so much for being a part of this. This has been a blessing. This was a great creative checkup. I will make an announcement via the newsletter when we will take a break. Maybe the New Year, the Memorial Day weekend or whatever, we'll take a break, but we are still moving, still shaking it. God bless you guys. Thank you, Wilfredo, and everybody else that joined us throughout. I saw you. Again, I can see you guys. I can see, I don't know if you can see the counter. I can see when you're watching. So I appreciate you sticking with us the entire time. It was a blessing. And please reach out, email, leave a comment so we know how it can bless you and continue to help you become the creative that you were created to be. Friends on Instagram and TikTok, thanks so much for joining us as well. X folks, great seeing you guys. Love having you on X. We're going to have to kind of keep this going. I've never done X before, but clearly you guys are also interested. So this is a blessing to have you guys there. All right, guys, that's all there is. There is no more. God bless you. Until next time, continue to become the creative that you were created to be. See you next week.